Okay, I'm back. So we are going to start with this story. This story is A Whistle for Willie by Ezra Jack Keats. Before I begin this story, there's a few things I want you to know about Ezra Jack Keats. Ezra Jack Keats is the author and illustrator of all of his literature. Many of them have won a lot of awards. Ezra Jack Keats' books didn't become famous until I'd say the 1960s or 70s. Ezra Jack Keats grew up in a very, very poor family. And you can see that reflected in his illustrations and also in all of his books. You'll find that you'll see rundown buildings and you'll see children kind of making toys out of things. You'll see houses that are a little bit broken. So it makes his literature a little bit more unique. And that is why I just love, every time I read these books, I find something new. I think you're really going to love this story. I'm also going to put in a video of this story so you kind of get to watch this book in action. So let's begin. A Whistle for Willie. I'm wondering if you know who Willie is. Oh, how Peter wished he could whistle. And there he is leaning on a stoplight thinking, man, I wish I could whistle. It makes me wonder how many of you can whistle. He saw a boy playing with his dog. Whenever the boy whistled, the dog ran straight to him. Peter tried and tried to whistle, but he couldn't. So instead, he began to turn himself around and around and around he whirled, faster and faster. Have you ever tried to do that? Have you ever just tried to spin around and around and around? I used to do that when I was a little girl. Can't do it much anymore, but I wonder what it's going to feel like when he's done doing all of that spinning. Look, you can see in the illustrations, the book is kind of giving you the appearance that we're kind of tilting back and forth, which is probably how he felt after he was done spinning. When he stopped, everything turned down and up and up and down and around and around. Peter saw his dog Willie coming quick as a wink. He hid in an empty carton lying on the sidewalk. Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled? Peter thought. Willie would stop and look all around to see who it was. Peter tried again to whistle, but he still couldn't. So Willie just walked on. So right now we can start to think about the problem in the story, and I know you know the problem. So tell me, what's the problem? Yeah, so he can't whistle. He would love to be able to whistle, and sometimes when we are growing up, we learn things at different stages. You may be able to whistle, some of your friends might not be able to whistle, but as we get older and as you practice, you will learn things that you've never known how to do before. Peter got out of the carton and started home. On the way, he took some colored chalk out of his pocket and drew a long, long line. There's some girls playing jump rope. Right up to his front door. He stood there and tried to whistle again. He blew until his cheeks were tired, but nothing happened. Poor Peter. I bet you're feeling kind of sad for Peter. Earlier I told you that sometimes in his illustrations we can see buildings that are run down, and you can see this gate is kind of broken and we have cracks in the buildings. I'm wondering why he has a hat on. What are you thinking? I see he's still practicing, so the illustration is probably going to tell me about that he's still trying to practice, and probably in a mirror. Let's see if my predictions about the illustration match the text. He went into his house and put on his father's old hat to make himself feel more grown up. He looked into the mirror to practice whistling. Still no whistle. Who do you think that is? Let's find out. When his mother saw what he was doing, Peter pretended that he was his father. He said, "I've come home early today, dear. Is Peter here?" His mother answered, "Why, no, he's outside with Willie." "Well, I'll go out and look for them," said Peter. I think Peter likes playing pretend. You can see he's outside. Still in the neighborhood, you'll find a lot of the settings for these stories happen in Peter's neighborhood. First, he walked along the crack in the sidewalk. Then he tried to run away from his shadow. He jumped off his shadow, but when he landed, they were together again. Have you ever tried to do that? He came to the corner where the carton was, and who would he see but Willie? Peter scrambled under the carton. He blew and blew and blew. I bet you're never gonna guess what's gonna happen. What do you think when he blew and blew? So through the whole story, he was practicing how to whistle. He was a little bit sad, so he kept on practicing. He didn't give up. So what do you think is going to happen? You ready? Here we go. He blew and blew and blew. Suddenly, out came a real whistle. Willie stopped and looked to see who it was. "It's me," Peter shouted and stood up. Willie raced straight to him. So look at this illustration. Look at the joy in his mom's face, and look at his dog and Willie. Does it make you think of a time where you learned to do something and you wanted to show your families and they were so excited for you? It makes me think of a time that happened to me. Peter ran home to show his father and mother what he could do. They loved Peter's whistling, and so did Willie. Peter's mother asked him and Willie to go on an errand to the grocery store. He whistled all the way there, and he whistled all the way home. Have you ever tried to do something that you couldn't do, and you tried and tried and tried, and then all of a sudden it happened? It kind of happens like when we're reading. We learn our sight words and we learn our letters and sounds, and we are not quite readers, but as we keep practicing, we become really, really good readers, and that's happening to all of you guys. I'm so proud. So I hope you enjoy that read aloud, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.